because I think when this was operating,
Yeah.
it was
Well, this boat was commissioned in December of World War 44,
Okay.
and it was in there long enough to make to go to Japan. It was the last ship to sink Japanese ships.
Wow. Last submarine. Wow.
My submarine was made 6 months later, and that was my first submarine. I've been on that for a year or so.
Okay, so is a submarine ride as rough as a ship, or do you?
Well, yeah, because you have to spend a lot more time on the surface than you imagine.
Yeah.
Because when you're underwater, you're using your battery.
So you had to come up and get what,
You
solar?
have to charge but you have engines. You have 4 big diesel engines in there, really big, really loud, but they don't run the screw. They run electric generators.
Because under the water, where would you couldn't do that?
Exactly. Yeah, even if it was like the ship that like most cars that runs with electricity, the engine is still connected to the screw, to the wheels. But basically with this one, you're running on electricity all the time. So it's either coming off the battery or running off the engine.
So you come up to the surface to run off the engine to recharge the battery so you can dive again. So how long could you dive at a time?
Well, I think the maximum is, it depends on where I'm looking. It's 24 to 30 hours. You see that metal thing there?
Yeah.
There's a group of, there's a bunch of those. If you're wearing a jacket with a thing, there's
like
a thing.
a tether that you hook onto that?
Yeah, well, actually, it's something that goes like this, and you get it on the end and put it on there, and you can walk around. It'll follow you around, but if you fall down, it won't let you fall off the ship.
Wow. Yeah. Or if you fall off, you don't go far.
Well, fall off, it's going to be, it's not easy to get people.
Because it's not long enough to go very far.
Yeah, metal cables.
And the purpose is?
The purpose is to help save the ship if you sink.
Okay.
The only time I've ever heard of it being used was even before before World War II. There was a submarine that was off New York or something, somewhere in that part of the country that sank, and
the crew lived off the air till they could get to them?
Yeah, well, there's still places there, that had oxygen in the air. But then, there were some people in the stern and some people in the bow. But they send this thing up, and it's got a cable that unwraps, or cable's wrapped. And it comes back to this thing. It comes out here, and it comes right here. And so when it goes to the surface, it drags on this thing. There's a Navy submarine recovery ship that's got a device that connects to the top of the cable. It just screws itself down, and it just comes right here, and
makes like a little.
It makes like a plate. You just open that up, get people into this thing, shut this back down. They go up and get off, come back. The thing drives itself back down.
Oh, it's actually a little capsule or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they don't have to increase the pressure. But I don't know what the maximum depth on this thing is. I haven't found that yet.
Okay.
But this ship is designed to be able to handle 400 feet, which was higher than most Japanese submarines during World War II. Because this was basically, like I said, December of 1944 is when this was
pretty
commissioned.
late in the game, right? Some people are sleeping and some are working. Yeah. Wow. And then there's a bag hanging, so I guess that's where people might keep.
That's where you put your dirty clothes. Yeah, you just snap that off, take the two in the middle, and snap them together, and carry it around. Use high pressure air to pump it out. So that thing is just going in and just that high pressure. Okay, this is the maneuvering room. And I like to call it the electrical compartment, because everything's electric at this point. What makes this ship, and one thing a lot of people don't understand and don't realize is that this ship doesn't, we have diesel engines, but the diesel engines don't run the propellers, run the screws. The screws are run by electric motors. They're down below here, one under each side. We got one torpedo on this side, one torpedo on the other side.
Right.
They're behind us.
Oh,
to what speed to go, and they would basically control the amount of the movement of electricity. How much electricity goes to those motors to control what speed you're going to go. in your house when you run cable, it's just a cable. It's just a you know, they don't do that here. You get these big
Oh, yeah.
wires there. That's copper inside there.
Wow.
Go to the handle. These engines are 10 years on a
So if you're under the ocean, so if you submerge, is it, and you're not running on your engines, so your electric,
You're
it's
running on
not,
the batteries.
right, so does it get cold and then you have to heat it, or
Well,
do you not worry about that?
well, there's heat generated in these things, that, for one thing.
So when you're running on the engines,
Yeah.
you get the heat, I would
Yeah.
think, yeah.
And I think there are heated units. There's also air conditioning, even from World War II.
Yeah.
The air conditioning to keep, because it not only keeps the air cool in the winter, in the summertime, but it also cuts down the fuel. I mean the water.
Fumes and that
No,
kind of.
the humidity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Basically lines up on the same lines as the air. And come back, so
Kind
it
of
comes back to
distilled.
fresh water, distilled water, and then of course what doesn't come out of that gets flushed. But it's hot and tough to work on this, so if somebody takes a shower too long, they get to do this job.
Wow, I guess we didn't have many showers.
No, you just take a real
A short shower, yeah.
And that's bad.
Okay.
And this is the battery part. This is all.
Oh, here's maybe.
And I'm told it isn't where the batteries were. We don't have batteries on here. We don't need batteries, and we get that.
If we do use it.
For the more senior enlisted people, we sleep here, and it'd be a nice place to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, so each one of these has
I'll go back
that.
and look in there.
But these up here,
Truthfully, I'd rather go out and buy a small one. Okay.
Wow.
I'm
So
gonna
you
take
must
it.
feel
then.
right at home, huh? Hello.
Hi.
Did you ever see Chuck around?
yes.
You still aboard?
Oh, no, that's when,
Because I'm going to be taking him to the train station. I didn't want to miss him.
when I left,
Bumpers are little birds on boat bites.
But like,
a
oh.
lot of, here we get into we'd be in Portland, we'd be working on stuff, and I'd be working on electronic stuff. I'd have to work on something in there, and people would be coming past me in both directions all the time, and it was just.
You learn to adapt. Yeah, you do. You learn to adapt.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the control room.
So this is where you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was at my, the radar, there's a radar thing upstairs, up in the control? No, this is the control room.
Yeah, whenever the thing.
The conning tower?
Conning tower, that's it.
Oh.
See,
Well, you know your submarines,
When I hear
huh?
the words, I know it.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. But anyway, the conning tower is where the periscope, it goes up and
Goes
down.
up, okay.
But also that's where you steer the ship,
Right.
and also the radar is up there.
Right.
This one has a radar down there too, but because they were used to follow early missiles. Basically, it was an airplane without a pilot.
Okay.
And it could be
Okay.
fired off. It would be stored in a thing on the back of a sub.
Right.
It would come up to the surface. They would get this thing out, put it up,
Launch it off.
launch it off. Well, but it has to be controlled by from a radar.
Uh-huh.
All right. So since a submarine is so tall and the radar only sticks out so far, the range is not big enough. So it'd be another submarine between where the submarine is shut on, where the missile's set off, and where it's going to be landing. You have another submarine sitting out there with a radar that would pick it up and make
Keep
sure it
it
went.
going.
That's what this one did.
Okay, this is the picture from through the periscope.
Taking a
got
video of it.
They have a camera up there, and that's the harbor.
My job would be a group of 4 people. When we're underwater, 2 of them would be here, 1 would be steering the ship, and the 4th one would go around, deliver coffee or wake people up for the next go around, whatever.
We want to go over to the Coast Guard cutter.
Yeah, but I guess we have to go around that way. fall day.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Very nice.
And warmer than I thought. You must be okay in your shirt sleeves.
I'm fine. Yeah, look at all the space down here.
Spacious.
Big difference from the Torsk.
But same era, right?
Yeah, looks like the 40s or 50s. Yeah, this is interesting.
Oh, I didn't know there were that
Coast Guard cutter that was armed for war during World War II
many. Yeah.
in the
And a dog,
Pacific.
Suki. Duty ships.
Mhm.
I mean, that are really like aircraft carriers and things that they let family members, as they're coming into port, coming back from a long trip, they'll let family members, like parents and kids, I think, come out and stay with them on the ship, which I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they try to make these boats accessible to the public.
Because this is the bathroom. Okay, ready? Yeah, it's recording again.